Okay, okay, so you can see my screen. That's fantastic. I see my screen. That's good. So I hope you can see what is on the screen here. Introduction to design, understanding the fundamentals and applications. So I'm just going to be running through majorly what we have here today as a topic, introduction. What we have as introduction, as we all know, design. A lot of people have been hearing about design. Oh, what is design? What is this? What is that? So we have been asking, what does design mean? What does it mean for you to design? What exactly is design? Does design mean for me to be drawing? Does design mean for me to be doing all of these? Does design mean for me to be creative? Does design mean for me to be thinking? Do I have to know how to use Photoshop? Do I have to do this? Do I have to do that? So most questions are going to be answered here in today's class. Okay, so basically I mentioned welcome to this class here on Design Space, Introduction to Design. We're going to be understanding the fundamentals and application of designs. Okay, so here on my next slide, I go to what we are going to be covering in today's class. We are going to be covering the a form of introduction, and under this introduction, I'm going to be doing the explanation of design, importance of design. I'm going to be explaining the importance of design, and also I'm going to be I'm going to be telling you about the definition and types of design, the definition of design, and also the types of design. So we are going to be going to another section in our next class. So this is the overview of what we are going to cover into this class. Okay, so yeah, as we all know, okay, one thing that everybody wants to know that okay, what is graphic design? What exactly can we call a graphic design? Okay, if this is if they say this is design, this is design, this one to a design, what are the characteristics to know that this is a design? Here, I wrote here that design is the process of creating something with a specific purpose in mind. Okay, you wanted to create, let me imagine you want to make a clothes. You get what I'm saying? You have something in mind. You already visualize something in your mind and you want to create that stuff. So that is what design means. To want to create that stuff. So it's just like, okay, design is the process of creating something with a specific purpose. I want you to know that a specific purpose in mind using a combination of creativity, problem solving, and technical skill. So look at those things. Like I meant, like the definition mentioned, is the process of creating something with a specific purpose in mind. Okay, whenever you want to, when you were designing a cup, for instance, you are designing a cup. The cup was there are some cups that are designed that has handle. Some cups have handle. Some cups do not have handle. So every one of them has a purpose. Look at the design of a cup and the design of a jug. You get what I'm saying? The design of a jug is different from what from the cup. Most people try to drink directly from their jug, but that is not the purpose of the jug. You get what I'm saying? So I want you to understand the purpose in mind using a combination of creativity. Look at the difference between two cutleries. We have the fork and we have the spoon. We can see that both of them are cutleries. They are solving similar problem, but they are solving. Let's say they are solving similar problem. They are solving almost similar problems, but the way they are solving it are different. You get what you are going to imagine. Imagine eating your spaghetti with a spoon. You get what I'm saying? That's an example of a product. So when they are designed, when they were coming, the person that brought out the idea of a fork or a spoon. You get what I'm saying? That was he was thinking of something in mind. That person was thinking to solve a problem. You get what I'm saying? Using a combination of creativity, problem solving, and technical skill. So, like I mentioned, it involved the intentional selection and arrangement of visuals or functional elements to achieve a desired outcome, whether it is a product, a building, a logo. You can see what I'm saying. So, design is something that applies in so many places. Like design can be applied in health, it can be applied in architecture, it can be applied in fashion, it can be applied in engineering, can be applied in as many fields that involves something that is visual. In as much there is a problem to be solved in that field, design is always needed. In as much there is a problem to be solved in that field, design is always needed. That is just something I wanted to understand, that no matter the field, in as much there's always something to be done, there's always a problem, there's always a need to be met, design is always needed there. So you can see it's involved intentional selection, like I said, arrangement of visuals, functional elements to achieve a desired outcome, whether it is a product, a building, a logo, a website, or any other tangible item. So I wanted to look at those things. It could be tangible and it could be intangible. When I mean tangible, it could be physical. When I mean something that's intangible, it could be like a soft copy, it could be a website, it could be a drawing board, it could be an art. You get what I'm saying? So also there's something I need you to understand about design. Design, it is influenced by culture. It could be influenced by culture, it could be influenced by social, economic, and environmental factors. You get what I'm saying? There are some things. Let me look for an example. Okay, for instance, when okay, look at the road sign. For instance, look at the road sign. If most of us are staying in Lagos or you have traveled on an highway, there are these blue or green reflective boards. You get what I'm saying? They're always on the highways. Whenever you see them, you get what I'm saying? You tend to understand that, oh, this is a road sign. Whenever you see a road sign on the road, you get to know that, oh, most time road signs are always probably yellow or they are green or they are red. You get to whenever it is red, it's passing a kind of warning sign. Whenever it is yellow, it's also telling you that you take note of something. Those are environmental designs. Environmental designs will include your switch on and on. Do you get what I'm saying? Most switch always have a 0 and 1 design. Like it is something that we are always used to. Another example of environmental design are okay, imagine you want to use a public toilet and you see two characters, a male and a female. You don't need anyone to tell you that this is the male, this is the female. Through the visuals that is there, like for instance, illustration that that's going to be drawn there, you tend to understand that no, this place is for the male, this place is for the female. Those are examples of environmental designs. You get what say economic designs. When I say economic design, when they talk about the naira dollar figure, whenever you see anything that has a naira or a dollar figure or something that has a chart, you get to understand that this thing is financially inclined. You are communicating with visuals. So here I stated the goals of a good design. When I say a good design could include a good design must be sustainable. When I mean sustainable, it does not. It's just like when I say, let me use MTN logo for example. Imagine that MTN has been changing their logo every day. Imagine MTN is changing their logo every day. How will you get to see MTN and know that this is MTN? Do you get what I'm saying? Imagine your phone. Imagine iPhone. iPhone logo looks like an apple. Do you get what I'm saying? Look at the way now imagine iPhone is changing their logo every day. Today they use apple, tomorrow they use mango, next tomorrow they use banana or whatever. You get it has to be something that you're going to be using all the time. It has to be functional. When I mean something is functional, it has to be serving its purpose. It has to be efficient. It has to be able to stay on everything that you think it can ever be. You get what I'm saying? For instance, look at Coca-Cola, for instance. Wherever you see their product, you always see their logo here, Coca-Cola. So that is an example of a good design. So I'm going to be moving on to the importance of design. Like I mentioned, I said good design to improve the quality of life, it enhance communication and drive economic growth. Here, for instance, I mentioned here that functionality. All functionality it helps to ensure that the product or service is functional and meets the needs of the intended user. Okay, let me look at this for example. Just imagine Big Biro, for instance. Big Biro. Everyone knows Big Biro. We know this Biro. There's this Biro they call it Leo Smart. I don't know if you know about Leo Smart. We know about Lucky. Do you get what I'm saying? Look at those pen, for instance. You notice that those pen has been like that, like for years. You get those pen has been like they have been serving that purpose at that point. Just imagine that your Bible is bigger. You know, there are some pen, there are some kind of fancy pen that we do use. You get what I'm saying? That you might not like the pen to write because it is either too big or too tiny. Do you get what I'm saying? So that is what they call functionality. You get if it actually meets the need, like okay, I need like okay, let's imagine that I need to get something like the pen is no, there are some pen that are also let me say they are big. The ball mouth is so big. Some are tiny. Do you get what I'm saying? There are some things that some books that whenever you are writing on those books, if you use too tiny ball pen, the book could, like it can tear. Those are part of how would I call it product design. Let me say yeah, that is an example of product design. So before let me just give you an insight of what the people that design those pen have done underground, probably in their office or in their company. They have made a lot of tests, they have made a lot of overview that okay, if we make this pen, if we make the ball mouth big, this is how we are going to be writing. Do you get? They have made a lot of tests. If we make it tiny, This is the kind of book you can use it for. This is the kind of drawings you can use it to do. Do you get what I'm saying? Those are the type of tests that they have gone through. So it has to be very functional. So it has to be aesthetics. Make a product or service more attractive and appealing. Look at iPhone, for instance. Look at Samsung. Look at Oppo. Look at Redmi. Imagine everyone is moving on to the fold edition. Almost Samsung, many devices have done the fold edition. Z Flip, everybody wants to be folding their phone. Do you get that? I think Motorola has also done that because they feel this aesthetic. Look at MacBook, for instance. MacBook is very clean. It looks, it depicts, how will I say it, luxury. Do you get what I'm saying? So those are the things like the passive value. There are sometimes that if you look at an iPhone and you compare it with a normal Android phone, the RAM, the space, the camera, the functionality of some Android are even far better than an iPhone. But because you perceive value in an iPhone, that is what makes iPhone stand out. You get whenever you hear iPhone, you perceive that no, even if it is nonsense they did there, in as much it is iPhone, you expect that it's going to be good. So that is what aesthetics means. Branding also comes into that part. That's those are major importance of design. They used to create a brand identity. Look at what Apple have done. Look at Apple. How does Apple relate to technology? But with time, they have been able to craft something out of that Apple, that um, logo Apple. Do you get what I'm saying? They're able to craft something and I'll be like, wherever you see that logo, you're able to know that no, they're talking about a phone, they're talking about technology or something like that. That is one of the things that that makes that those are one of the characteristics of a very good design. So look at user experience, the impact of the user experience of a product or service, making it easier and enjoyable to use. Okay, let me use for instance, you want to log into Facebook. Let's imagine, whenever you want to log into Facebook, imagine you have an account before. The only thing you just need to do is input your email, your phone number, or and your password. You get what I'm saying? Now imagine that every time you try to log into Facebook, you have to input all your data over again, like your date of birth, you have to upload another new profile picture. You get that every time you need to log into Facebook. Imagine that kind of stress. That is what they call user experience. I need to know if people can hear me. I need to know if people can hear me. If you can hear me, can you reply in the chat box? Can you reply in the chat box that I can hear you? So that I'm not just be the only one talking in this class. Can you hear me? Just type and say you can hear me. I can hear you. Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. Who else can hear me? Okay, can hear me. So thank you so much. Thanks for the feedback. Thanks for the feedback. Okay, so as I was saying, so user experience is part of it. Imagine I have to input everything. So that is as an example of design too. Okay, let's imagine that your laptop. Just let's imagine that your laptop, whenever you want to open your laptop, your laptop screen is attached to your keyboard. Let's imagine that every time you need to open your laptop, you need to start scrolling your screen to your keyboard. Do you get what I'm saying? User experience is just something like, look, okay, imagine the way laptop computers be in the olden days. A computer could be a whole building. Then they compress a computer to a desktop. Then from a desktop, it become a laptop. If you imagine laptop of those days were very heavy. You get they always move laptops in a very big briefcase. Now laptops have been so portable in such a way that I can even put a laptop in a small file and you don't even know that I put a laptop in a file. Like the laptop I'm using now, if I put it in an envelope, you might not know that it's a laptop that is there. So it is based on user experience you get that have made them improve the design of those laptops to this point that we are now. So look at innovation. When they say innovation, driving innovation by identifying new and better ways to solve problems and meet customer needs. Now, imagine that the way, as I explained earlier, a laptop. Imagine the way a laptop was before. Like they have tried to innovate better ways. I mean, like, oh, instead of us be using, if you notice that even new laptops that they are making now does not use CD again. They don't have a DVD-ROM. They don't have a CD-ROM because CD and DVD-ROM are now going obsolete. So there's no need for that. Most people use Netflix. Before in our houses, if your for your home theater to be complete, you have to have an home theater, you have to have a radio, you have to have one big TV, you have to have a DVD. Do you get what I'm saying? You have to have a DSTV, all of those gadgets together. But now I don't think you need all of that again. All you just need is just one smart TV. You get that's what they call innovation. One smart TV can serve the purpose of DSTV. Even smart TVs now have DSTV installed. They have Netflix. They have everything. All you just need to do is just have your TV and have a modem. You don't need a DVD. You don't need good TV. You don't need home theater. All of those things. Just have one TV. That is what innovation implies. So let's move to the next thing on my slide here. I said types of design. So when you are, I was mentioning design. So there are categories of design. There are types of design. For instance, we have the graphic design. For instance, I mentioned the art and practicing of the art and practice of creating visual content to communicate information and message to a specific audience. For instance, look at this flyer. The flyer for this class, for instance, I that is the graphic design. That is the work of graphic design. It is the act of and practice of creating visual content. I created a visual content you get to communicate information or message to you that we're having a class and the class is going to be on introduction to design. That is what graphic design do. Like I mentioned here, it involves the use of typography, imagery, color, and other elements to create design that are aesthetically pleasing. When I say aesthetically, there have to be some input. There have to be input of aesthetics. You get aesthetically pleasing and effective in conveying a particular message or brand identity. So things that need to be considered whenever you are doing your graphic design is aesthetics. It has to be effective in conveying a particular message. You get what I mean? Those two things has to be in place. So here I mentioned that it involved working on logos, graphic design, it involved working on logos, brochures, websites, social media posts, billboard, packaging, and so on. In as much as visuals, in as much like graphic design so much encompasses like it encompasses a lot of things that in as much it is visuals, in as much as it is visuals, in as much as it is visual, in as much as it is visuals, it's going to a lot of things. So yeah, I mentioned that the goal of graphic design is to communicate a message in a visual compelling way, like I mentioned, a visual compelling way. It is easy to understand and remember. Okay, imagine I mentioned about MTN logo, for instance. Imagine that MTN has been changing the font of their logo. They are changing the font of their logo every day. They are changing the font of their logo every day. Imagine how will you know that this is MTN? How will you know that? How will you know that it's MTN? So imagine Airtel. Airtel has been changing the front of their logo every day. So those are things that um those are things that need to be put in place for you to be able to know a good graphic design. So it has to be something that sticks to people's brain. Look at Indomie, for instance, Indomie noodles. Imagine that Indomie noodles has not been consistent without their Indomie all this while. How will you get to understand that, oh, this is the Indomie noodles that we have been eating since when I was young? Do you get what I'm saying? Those are things that need to be considered about graphic design. Okay, so let's move to product design. So yeah, I said product design is the process of creating and developing new products or improving existing ones with the goal of meeting the needs of the customer and the user. Do you get what I'm saying? So product design, like it's cut across a lot of things. Do you get what I'm saying? Product design cut across a lot of things. It's cut across many things. Like for instance, I mentioned a jog. A jog, like creating a jog can be product design. Do you get what I'm saying? For instance, now let me use our mouse for example. Imagine if people here if you know about old computers like old mouse used to have a ball under. You get it? They used to have a ball under. Those mouse are are heavy. Do you get what I'm saying? If those balls stop working, your mouse will stop working. Do you get what I'm saying? Those balls work on like the position of those balls work with your mouse, with your cursor on the system. Now with time they were able to improve. They started using lights. Then mouse started using there's this kind of red or blue light that's under your mouse. Do you get what I'm saying? Then from there, your mouse has to needs to have a very long cord that will be connected to your system. Those are product design. So there have been issues if you go to computer village now or where they repair computers, most issues that are happening with the mouse is that either the cords are bad, you know what I'm saying? The cords get to break somewhere. Like with time, then they begin to improve that okay, let us start making wireless mouse. You get now you will notice that the kind of mouse that is very rampant now is wireless mouse. If they are not getting feedbacks, if they are not getting feedbacks on oh we have too many, like if they are not some kind of data to be like oh we have too many damaged mouse, what is the cause of this mouse that they are beginning to damage all the time? It's because of it is because the cords are getting bad all the time. So they are now trying to create another product. They are trying to design a product in such a way that it will not involve cords again. Now, when you see a mouse now, they will have two parts. They will have a small receiver, and at the other end, it uses a battery, which is more efficient than the way mouse has always been. So that's an example of product design. Like product design can also cut across web design too. If you know if you people that have been using Facebook for a long time, you know the way Facebook looks like in 2016, like the user interface of Facebook in 2015. You understand that Facebook has improved. If you notice back then, Facebook, whenever you are chatting on Facebook, the chat always come on the top, at the top. If you send a new chat like hello, how are you doing? The chat comes to the top. It's not like now that it comes down. Like it was based on user experience, user the designing of the website, the product that made them understand that no, it does not make sense for the chat to be going, you get to the top, because most times whenever you are reading something, you read something from the top to the bottom, not from the bottom to the top. So it's based on product improvements. That is all those kind of design are categorized under product design. Yeah, I mentioned the process of creating and developing new products or improving existing one with the goal of meeting the needs of customers and users. Note that like the goal of product design is to meet the need of customers and users. It involves various stages such as ideation, research, prototyping, testing, and manufacturing. Like I mentioned now, they will have to ideate. They'll be like, oh, can this thing work? How what are the possible ways for us to create these things? Then they begin to make research that oh, research include I mentioned mouse, for instance, probably due to their research that they used to that their research made them understand that what's the major thing that gets damaged in mouse generally is the cord, is the wire. So they made another product that does not work with wire again. Do you get what I'm saying? That's based on research. Then prototyping. They will have tested those things. They will have tested those mouse that okay, we make it this new way. This guy's going to work, and they will have done, like I mentioned, prototype testing before they will start manufacturing those products. That is what product design entails. It's cut across web design, cut across industrial design, no matter whatever design you are doing. So here I mentioned that the aim of product design is to create products that are desirable, that are useful and marketable. If those products are not desirable, like if it is not meeting the need, it's just like I am creating a imagine me creating a device that will be feeding me. Imagine like I don't really need it. Like I don't know anyone that like that will need a device that will feed him. Just imagine someone feeding you. Oh, you want to create a device or you want to create a robot that the purpose of that robot for me to be is for me to be feeding you. Do you get what I'm saying? Like who needs that kind of product now? It's not that I am handicapped, I am not handicapped, nothing's wrong with me. Then I don't think I need a product or I need anything that will be feeding me. So that is example of product design. If those design, like if I don't need it, if the product can be fantastic, you guess, but I don't need it. Do you get what I'm saying? Like those are the things that need to be considered whenever you are doing product design. The user have to be in mind. It has to be useful and it has to be marketable. While also meeting the needs, the user have to also fulfill business goals. That is also in the process of manufacturing those products. Okay, so yeah, I mentioned that the product designer they work to create and design, like product designer work to create design that are both functional, aesthetical, appealing, and also considering factors such as usability, safety, durability, cost, and sustainability. I've mentioned all of these things. For instance, it has to be usable. Do you get what I'm saying? It has to be usable. For instance, let's imagine the way PS. I don't know whoever played PS or Nintendo or Game Boy. Do you get what I'm saying? Look at the way it has been in those days, the way compared to the way it is now. They are really improved. You get what I'm saying? It has to be usable, it has to be safety. Okay, for instance, let's imagine there is this thing, there are some blenders, there are some cookers now. You get what I'm saying? That whenever, okay, let me put, there is this fuse, for instance, let me use a fuse, for instance, or a stabilizer. Before, when they did the fridge, all this manufacturing of freezer, you get what I'm saying, refrigerator, most of the time when there is low current or high current, it tends to spoil the fridge. So due to safety, uh, that is how the production of fuels came into place. You notice that whenever the current is high or the current is low, what gets burnt in your stabilizer or in your fridge is the fuse. The fuse gets spoiled. It will not spoil the refrigerator. So that is part of product design. That is an example of product design that has to be cost effective. So let's move to the next thing. Yeah, I mentioned about fashion design. So fashion design too is an interesting part of an interesting part of design too. So it's the act of practice and designing clothing, accessories, and footwears. Design too is also used in this aspect. So it involves creating designs that are both functional and aesthetically appealing. When I mean aesthetically appealing, like it has to be connecting to you. When I mean something that's aesthetic, like something that's just you don't know how you cannot just explain how it is connecting to you, but it's communicating to you. Just imagine when you see art, for instance, you see an art logo, like this like logo, this like icon of Instagram. This can mean a lot of things. When wherever I'm very sure that no matter the social media that you see, no matter social media where you see that icon, you will always it's subconsciously stick to your head that oh, this icon is a like icon that if I click this icon, I am liking this post. Do you get what I'm saying? Or wherever you see a thumb or a thumbs up icon, you just it just subconsciously it is subconscious comes to your head that oh this design this thing needs to be liked. Do you get what I'm saying? That is those are example. Well, that is an example of when something is aesthetically appealing. Like you just need to know that that's just subconscious somehow. Okay, so they are also considered factors. For instance, they also consider factors such as market trend, sustainability, culture, and social influence. It's and there are a lot of trends in fashion design. There have been a lot of trends, the agbada, the cultural, like you look at the um cultural dresses has evolved. You get look at the way cultural dresses has evolved till now. There are a lot of things that have been changed. You look at the way agbada is being sewn in those days compared to the way agbada is being sewn now. So those are things that fashion design, like they are designs too. Those are the way it has evolved. So let me move to the next slide. You know, I'm not done with this slide. Okay, it said, for instance, I said the goal of fashion design is to create designs that are unique, that are stylish. Look at Louis Vuitton, for instance. Look at Gucci. Look at Dior. Something is always unique to them. Do you get what I'm saying? Look at Balenciaga. Look at Nike. Look at all of those fashion stuffs. Something is always unique to them. Something that is stylish and commercially viable. Do you get? While also reflecting culture, social trend, and meeting the need of customer. Look at Nigeria jersey, for instance. One thing I like about the Nigerian jersey when it was designed was the pattern that was on it. I so much love the pattern. Do you get what I so much love the pattern on that. And one thing I liked about this movie, The Black Panther, was the pattern too. I so much liked the pattern at which of the suit, the design that they put on the suit, the way those things, the color, it depicts something that comes from Africa. Do you get what I'm saying? So those are things that tends to trend in fashion design. So, like I mentioned, they use range of materials and techniques to create their design, and often collaborate with other professionals such as textile manufacturer, pattern makers, and tailors. You get what I'm saying? Okay, so let's move to interior design. Interior design is something that we might know and we might not also know. For instance, we said the art and science of enhancing the interior of the space to achieve a healthier and more aesthetically pleasing environment for the people using the space. Okay, there's something I wanted to notice that why do you think that most hospitals are always painted either white and blue?
Because the reason why they are painted white and blue is because white and blue is a color that kind of give life. You get, like, imagine someone is sick and you are in a dark room and the color of your room is red, and or the color of your room is black or it is brown. Like, psychologically, that person is going to die. Let me just let's be let's be true and candid, because you cannot be in that kind of environment and you have the hope of regaining your health, because all of those interior design colors, they affect us subconsciously. Imagine that someone is in coma and the only color he can see is red. How do you expect the person to survive? Or the only color the person can see is black. So that is why you can, in any hospital or whatever health center that you see that they painted the place red, that place must be an herbalist. Even in herbalist, the shrine, they even tend to even paint it white. Do you get what I'm saying? It is very, very unusual. So those are what interior design they do. It involves the selection and arrangement of furniture, color scheme, lighting, and decorative elements to create a functional and comfortable space that meets the needs and preference of the occupant. For instance, as a graphic designer, my space, all I just need is a very good table, a good chair. Yeah, that chair is very important because I can sit for as long as 10 hours and I cannot be sitting on a wooden chair. The day I tried it, I know, like, I felt the pain. So those are things, those are designs. Look at this ergonomic chair that they are that are coming to into vogue now. It is based on designs that have made them understand that, oh, if you are sitting this way too long, they made those chairs in such a way that you can always change the positions. Those are designs. Those are what design does. Okay, yeah, I mentioned that the goal of interior design is to create a space that is both beautiful, functional, while also reflecting the personality and style of the occupant. You get, interior designer work on a range of projects such as residential and commercial interiors, hospitality and retail spaces, and public spaces such as museum and airports. Like I mentioned, hospitality and hotel too. You get what I'm saying? Okay, so we are going to move to web design. So this is the last type of design that we are going to be exploring this night before we have time for questions. So web design, like I mentioned here, the process of creating and developing websites. It encompasses various elements such as layout, color scheme, typography, graphics, user experience. You get, these are the major things that I need to put in places that need to be put in place. Web designers use a variety of tools and programming language to create visually appealing and functional websites that are easy to navigate and use. I mentioned it there. Like, those are the characteristics of a good web design. It has to be visual appealing, it has to be functional, and it has to be easy. It has to be easy to navigate and use. There is this thing that I still don't like about if we, people that still use Naira Land. Naira Land is a website that is not easy for you to navigate. I don't know why they have not improved on that website. That website has been like that, HTML built for a very long time, no improvement, nothing. Do you get? Imagine you want to navigate. Imagine you navigating Google, for instance, compared to you navigating Nairaland. Do you get what I'm saying? That is like, there's a big difference. The big difference in it. So yeah, I said the goal of web design is to create a website that is aesthetically pleasing, user friendly, and effective in meeting the need and goal of the website owner organization. Like I said, it has to be aesthetically pleasing, user friendly, effective in meeting the need. There's sometimes whenever you go to Google search something, it is what you are looking for that you are. If you say that if you search cup, is that cup that is in your mind? If Google bring out something else or an ad, you are not interested. So that is an example of a good web design. Yeah, like they mentioned that they consider factors such as user behavior, accessibility, and search engine optimization when deploying their design. Web design can include a wide range of projects, such as creating a website for business, e-commerce site, online portfolio, blog, and more. When they say SEO, imagine you go to Google and type Junior.
the first thing you're going to see is Jumia, because that website has been like the SEO optimization is very good. When I mean SEO optimization, it means that the content on their website is so much tailored that any word you type on Google, Google will always bring it up. So that is the meaning of web optimization. That might not be a topic for today. Probably in another class we can try to explain that. So I don't know if you have any question. Do you have any question? Do you have any question to ask, or you have something that you want me to repeat on the introduction to design? You can raise up your hand and just raise your hand so that we can start taking questions. Okay, any question? Any question? Good question. It looks like you don't have any question. Looks like you don't have any question. That means what I've been saying since you understand what I've been saying. Hello. I need to know if you understand what I'm saying. You can reply via chat through the chat box. I'll reply via chat box. So I guess for you not to have questions, guess that you understand all what I'm saying. Like get to know that, what this guy said about graphic design, product design, fashion design. I really understand, well understood. Okay, is that well understood? Let me ask the question. Can you just explain how design? Okay, I think when you realize before I ask Reti Agnes a question, let me listen to the last question. Okay, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
All right, good evening, everyone. So
Yeah,
I'd
good
like to
evening.
ask, you said designs infused into fashion design. Now, does this come as fashion illustration or drawing? Because how do I bring a computer design if I don't have a knowledge, or how do I infuse that computer design into the fabric that I am making? I understand the one of the interior design, because I know that you might need to have a knowledge of 3D, AutoCAD and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then how do I bring in fashion with this particular design that you're talking about now? Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I understand your question very well. Okay, so yeah, part of fashion design, fashion illustration is something that is categorized under fashion design, because even before you start cutting your clothes, you start doing all of those things, you must have something in your mind that okay, this is what I'm creating. Then you begin to draw out something, like start to draw out something. Most of the time they might not use, some people are so good in using it. Depends. The thing is that there's something about design, it is not totally too dependent. When I mean too dependent, it's not necessary that you start to use a computer design. You get, computer design is not something that is very easy to use, that you can use to get a lot of things done. You get, for instance, I can draw a pattern on my Illustrator and replicate it into 100 places. Imagine you drawing 100 illustration, you have to repeat 100 illustrations. You get, but with the help of a computer, if you notice, most people that do illustration designs, you get, what they need to do is to create one. All they need to do is to create. All they need to do is to create one pattern. When they create one pattern, then they put it on a laptop. You get what I'm saying? We draw that one pattern and replicate it in like 100 places. Okay, it's easy to do on laptop. You get what I'm saying? But if you are to be doing that with your hand, you have to be doing that traditionally. It's not easy. So that is how probably doing something on a laptop comes into fashion design. Because most I know some fashion illustrator, they design the sketch. When the sketch they can bring that sketch up into a laptop or probably their design tool, and they make an illustration of it. And the illustration can be made by Sketch and can also be made on a design tool like Figma, Illustrator, or whatever. So then, whenever you are making industrial production, you can look at Louis Vuitton, for instance. Look at all of those their patterns. All of those things were printed on those clothes. They were not done with hand, they were done with machine. So something they were designed those things on a machine that is communicating with their printing design. Do you get what I'm saying? And get to print that stuff in a mass quantity. So that is how design interacts with fashion design. I hope I answered your question well.
Yes, yes, you do. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So, Iriti Agnes, my question for you, as you said, no question, well understood. So, can you just tell me how design is related to product design? Can you just explain product design? I think that is the second to last thing I mentioned. Just tell us a few things, probably one or two sentences about what you understand about product design. Can you hear me? Oh, I don't think she okay.
Okay, I can recall that product design is the process of creating and developing new products with the goal of meeting needs of customers and users. Yeah, I think that's what I can recall.
Okay, you think that's what you can recall. So in your own terms, like don't just tell me what you recall. What you recall can be something that okay, when you understand something, you can always put it in your own like in your own simplest form. So what is another thing that you think that product design is?
Mm, mm, mm.
Yeah, I'm waiting. What else do you think product design is? And how do you think it can be applied?
It can be applied for business purposes.
Okay.
Mm, what again? To achieve business goals.
Maybe it's, you're in line. It shows that you were in class, like you were following. Because I mentioned here, I said product design. Like that's like one major thing about product design is the user has to be like you have to put the design in mind. You have to put the
Yeah,
design in
that's
mind.
true.
You have to put the design in mind. You cannot be designing. Just imagine you are designing. How would I call it? There's this thing. I'm trying to look at something that we can really relate with. I'm looking at something we can relate with. Uh, Something that is locally made. Do just imagine designing a spoon. No, it's not really a spoon. Okay, look at these Crocs for instance. Look at these Crocs. These Crocs that people wear. These very common Crocs. The reason why you see more of those Crocs out is because there are good feedbacks about that product. People really like it. It's very comfortable. Look at this slide too. There is one Nike slide that people like putting on like that. The reason why you see more of that slide because the demand is high, it is meeting the need of what people are expecting. So that is what product design is all about.
Okay.
That is one thing what product design is all about. It's just like if you notice there was a time that uh there was this trend of Aboki using wheelbarrow to push their goods. If you notice that there was a time that they don't do that, Aboki will always go about with a stool and a tray to wherever they are going. But now, if you notice that most Aboki they go with a wheelbarrow, no matter whatever they are selling, no matter if they are selling tomatoes, potato, no matter what they are selling, they believe that whatever they are, can you just mute yourself? Because it's getting a feedback. No matter what they are selling, they believe that whatever they are selling is mobile. They can always move from one place to another. That is one characteristics about them. Like they move from one place to another. They don't stay in one place. They don't have a shop, but they are selling. So that is what product design. Look at the person that designed the wheelbarrow, for instance. He has like the use is very wide. In as much as you have a wheelbarrow, you can always sell anywhere. Look at people that are selling this charger, battery that go on wheelbarrow. It is making they are selling mobile, does not make they are selling static. So that is an example of product design. Uh so thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really want to thank everyone that attended this class. T, Matthew, Lola, Sharon, Ilesonmi, Daniel. Thank you so much, and I hope you gained something. This design space, in case you have any question, probably on this class or on another topic that is design related, you can always ask on the video, and we are going to get answers across to you. Design space is a community of designers that get to like help each other, get to see designs, you get to improve yourself about design. Probably you are moving into tech, you be like, okay, I want to move into tech. Very soon I'm going to there's going to be another class. I'm going to be showing you probably how I got into design. So you are just moving into design, and there are some things that you can learn from how I moved into design. There are some things that you need to do. Oh, I need to move. I need to start designing. I need to move into design. Do I need to first go and get a laptop? Do I need to go and do this? There are some things that we're going to be explaining. We're going to be breaking them down one by one. Okay, so thank you so much for joining, and have a fantastic night.
Good night. Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you so much. Bye. Good night.